Supernatural claims and miracles have never been publicly displayed in ways which could not have been trickery or hallucination. If they had, we would all know about it. Many believers are adamant that these things have occurred, but for a skeptic like me, the evidence for this is in short supply. Many would argue that the holy books themselves are proof of divine or supernatural intervention, and could not possibly have been written entirely by human beings. If humans feel that the content is superior to what they could come up with, does this not suggest that it could have been written by someone of greater intelligence than them? A more intelligent human, perhaps? Another argument which frequently comes up is, look around you. Isn't it obvious that a creator had to be behind all of this? And then come all the arguments against evolution and cosmology, most of which say more about the believer's lack of understanding of the scientific consensus than flaws in the theories themselves. I don't think anyone could be absolutely certain that there is no higher form of intelligence in the universe. Who knows? The point is that science has discovered more and more about life and the universe, much of which goes against religious teachings. So some believers moderate their beliefs and say that the holy books shouldn't be taken literally, while others say that the holy text should be taken literally and that science has got it all wrong. Science continually corrects itself, refining the theories and striving to get a better understanding of how things really are. This itself causes discomfort to many believers. They seem to think that because theories can change if new evidence comes to light, that their own immovable beliefs must be superior, because they never change. Many believers find it very hard to admit that they don't know something, often ignoring uncomfortable questions altogether. In my opinion, faith is allowing your gullibility and wishful thinking to suppress your ability to reason critically. That is my observation, not taken from any book or website, but based on 35 years of accumulated life experience. I've had some interesting discussions recently with some very strong believers who say things like, my spirit is in a fallen state and that I must repent for my sins, or that Catholicism is the only way that the Western world can resist being taken over by Islam, or that the Quran supersedes all previous religious texts and must be believed. The fact is that there are so many faiths full of very convinced believers who often cannot agree amongst themselves what God is, whether there has been a Messiah or not, whether souls reincarnate or not, and so on. So someone like me, who was born skeptical, finds it very hard to work out which, if any, of the faiths are based wholly or partially on reality. The default position for me is to assume that they're all wrong, unless something really convincing comes along, which so far it has not. The believers often say things like, you just have to accept that it is real and then enlightenment will come to you. Quite frankly, my brain will not allow me to accept something as fact if I'm unsure of the validity of the claims. The fact is that I already feel enlightened thanks to my strong sense of curiosity, which has helped me to learn about what atoms are, what molecules are, life here on the Earth, the planet itself, the moon, the outer planets, our star, the sun, our galaxy, and all the other galaxies, not to mention the laws of physics which describe how it all works and fits together. Somehow I find this so much more fascinating than what religion has to offer. Here on YouTube there seem to be more theists who feel the need to censor video responses, comments, ratings and channel comments than non-believers. This is just an observation of mine, but it begs the question, why? Those doing the censoring will probably say that it's because of all the hatred coming at them from nasty atheists. To a certain degree, I think they have a point. Some who describe themselves as non-believers can be quite forceful with their views, but so can some of the believers. But the non-believers seem to be far more open to criticism and genuine debate. I'd like to address this specifically to the believers among you. If your beliefs are based on reality, then it stands to reason that by examining them in detail, the truth of them will become clearer. So you should encourage critical inquiry into religious claims. Unless, of course, deep down you suspect that they will not withstand rigorous scrutiny. The conduct of some believers would suggest that this may be the case. I feel like I'm getting a better understanding of how faith works, but I'm no closer to being able to accept it. The logic seems back to front. Essentially, you must believe first, and then the evidence and understanding will follow. I cannot force myself to believe something which my rational thought processes are unsure about. Even if I say, I believe, I believe, I believe, I know I'm lying to myself.